Okay, friends, subscribers, and all you YouTubers out there. First of all, I'm going to start off with this device that I designed to try and film it a bit better. Failed miserably, but it'll be great for the rifle range or when I'm hunting. It's perfect for that, but not for stars. Anyhow, going back to our little device, here I am. I'm just focusing on our little gizmo. I've forgotten to actually focus on it. I was using autofocus here, so I was having a bit of problems. You definitely need to use manual focus on any digital camera is what I'm finding out, because all it wants to do is focus on the light, so you need a manual focus it. I automatically adjusted the exposure down to 37% eventually, and then went to the focus. So by lowering the exposure prior, then focusing, then I've actually just adjusted the exposure to get it right. So here I am doing that. In a second I'm going to be doing it on a star to show you the difference between what a star looks like when you go through the same process of lowering the exposure and focusing it properly. You can see a definite difference, because a star just looks like a round dot. Not bright, but it looks like a star, like a round thing in the sky. So even though stars aren't round, I'll go on that in another story. So yeah, that'll intrigue you. Our star isn't round, by the way. No star is round. It's actually scientifically known that stars actually have 4 regions on it, with a polar and a north and south polar. So, but they're not actually round. So yeah, I'm going to leave that one, let you stew on that one for a couple of videos, because I'm actually working on something. I've got the evidence, and I'm going to actually physically prove it, because I'm just waiting on some permission from someone's actual recording the original and everything. I don't know whether it's public domain yet or whatever, so if it's public domain I can use it, but if it's not I have to gain permission, so I can't make that video until then, so you're just going to have to wait. But it's not a pyramid shape. Could be, you never know. Joke. But the thing is, what we are actually looking at here is the me trying to work out why it's not focusing in. I hadn't realised I hadn't turned on the autofocus and turned on the manual, so I'm boiling myself here for 10-15 minutes, and not that long, just a couple of minutes it took. But eventually I worked out what the problem was and started seeing the TET again. And yes, I've officially named this the TET UFO, T-E-T, TET, the same as from the movie Oblivion, because I believe this is the reason they did make the movie Oblivion, because basically, yeah, it's quite logical when you think about it. The best way to actually cover something up is make a movie about it. That way, if someone does cite it and find it like I did, they can turn around and say, oh no, you're just copying the TET, the movie from Oblivion. Well, I'm not. This object is actually in the sky. It's in the sky over the Australian region at from about 3 a.m. in the morning through to 6 that I've noticed it. Unfortunately, it may have been there a bit earlier, but we've had cloud cover before that in the last few days. And again, we've got cloud cover out there tonight, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out there tonight and film anything, because there's just absolutely no stars at the moment. So yeah, so it's been a matter of just going along and finding the objects that you need to find, and yeah, so eventually I do get this in focus, by the way. It was just giving me a bit of a hard time, and but the way life goes. And by the way, occasionally folks, I may mention I'm actually stopping for a second and everything like that. There is a reason I'm actually telling you that. Is so because people should know that I don't sit here for an hour going blah 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 blah. I sit back and I talk for a while and then stop, mainly because I've forgotten what I was going to say. Yeah, or I've got to turn around and have a break and have a drink, because trust me, talking for a solid hour you'd lose your voice, and you do have to stop. Even if you've got the gift of the gab like me and not afraid to voice your opinions, you do need to stop. Otherwise you lose your voice. I have to quite regularly go out and swig a couple of mouthfuls of just pure lemon juice Yeah, sorry about that, folks. This is the bottom star of the Southern Cross, by the way. And what you can see here, no matter what I do, all I get is that perfect little circle. And that tells me it's a star. It's nothing more than a star. And I try and take it out of focus. I try and take it into focus. But all I get is a little round dot. That's either a planet or a star. If that happens, you don't have a UFO, okay? So what you've got to do is, so you've got to sit there and turn around and make sure everything. In a second, a blank section is going to come up, and that's where I'm taking back to the other star, and I'm going to have a little joke, and it's not quite ready yet. So, yeah, you've got to turn around and make your own mind up about what things are, but it's quite easily. When you're on a star, you get nothing but a round dot, no matter what you do to it. Yeah, you never know, folks. They could be up there saying, basically anything about us. Something like, hey, people of dirt, we are here to sample your population. You call us ET, but we made you. Yeah, we don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah, that's just a bit of a joke. Dirt, hence, represents Earth. Earth is dirt, so call it dirt. Just for a bit of fun, folks. Yeah, it's it just jumped off the screen for a second while I was moving the camera back over to the TET. So I just thought I'd have a bit of a joke. I did not want to remove any section of the film or the footage so that you guys know that it's not faked or that I've taken out anything important. All that was just me removing the camera and putting it back. As you can see, that's normal light. So you can see that the sun is coming up. And this is one of the reasons why lowering the resolution, lowering the brightness, exposure. For those of you that don't know what exposure means, it means turning the brightness down. So now that we are in the position of the sun rising, so from now on the sun is rising, so here I am. This is what a lot of people film. They get this and they think, oh wow, that's the UFO. But I noticed something. That is a light that you see only when it comes off a torch of some description or an artificial light, because you don't get that off the moon, you don't get that off any other light source. It tends to come from artificial lights, those sort of effects. So what happens when it does do that? It's the thing. So there we go. We have the TET back in. Yeah, so we got the TET back in sight, and we're back to filming, and I've just discovered a problem I've been having when I've been audio recording, and so yeah, I've just had a bit of fun, by the way, but they've got me adjusting and getting the TET back into focus and everything like that. So, and yes, I do believe this is the reason why the movie Oblivion was made, to cover up the fact that this thing is in our sky. Best way to cover something up, make a movie about it, so if anybody sees it, they can just say, oh, they saw that movie. Well, guess what? I've seen it in the sky. Sorry, just having a drink. And, yeah, by the way, what I do, I drink lemon drinks when I'm talking away on these videos because it does refresh the soul. Lemon juice pure is even better. So, once I managed to get it back in focus, by the way, and it's moving, tends to be moving more like a moon and more like a star, moving about the speed of the moon, so it means it's in an orbit, definitely in orbit. So if this is in an outer atmosphere orbit, this thing is huge, and I mean it's friggin' huge, can't be anything else. But you've got to turn around, you've got to look at stuff for yourself, folks. Now, going back to what I was saying about if you're going to go out running out with a telescope, don't bother. You've got a telescope, all you're going to see is a little white dot, because the light of the sun reflecting off this object is so bright. I know it's the light of the sun reflecting off the object, because it's so bright that basically if you don't turn your exposure down, you're not going to see this. For those of you who don't know what exposure means, it's the brightness control on your video recorder. So you've got to turn it down to about 30 to 37% or about 50. You do that, you tend to spot it. Now, if you only see a round dot when you do that, focus it in and out. If you can't get anything but a round dot when you're focusing it out, you've got a planet or a star, nothing more. Okay, it's not a UFO. If it's round and in the sky, it's nothing more than a planet or a UFO. But you can only tell that if you've used your exposure. You've got to lower the brightness of the object. right? Just putting a spec filter over a telescope doesn't work. Trust me, I've tried that for years. Right, so you've got to turn around and you've got to make the decision to, okay, you're going to spend a bit of money on a video camera that's good quality. No, you don't have to. Go back and buy a second-hand high 8 that still works, because that's all I use. Well, I didn't buy mine second-hand, but I'm not going to go out and buy a new digital one because they've changed technology. My camera still works. Does a damn good job too, by the way. Uploading's a bit slower, but there's not a problem. I'm fiddling with the focus here just to go through, and I do experiments with focus, brightness the whole way through the filming of it, so I can sort of see. Generally, if you're looking through a telescope, that's what you're going to see. I've turned the brightness up to about 60% and turned the focus onto autofocus. I've done it for a reason, to actually show you people out there that don't have the equipment to adjust the focus, right, that you need to do something about it. So you've got to have something where you can adjust the exposure, where you can adjust the focus on it, right? That was a little experiment I did to show you that focusing it is important, and lowering the exposure because it's just too bright, because the sun reflecting off that bottom diamond panel is the last thing you'd see as you lower the exposure all the way off. And yeah, that might have been when the dog kept on coming around the bottom of the bloody tripod, knocking the tripod. Sorry about that, folks. I did get up him a few times, but he tends to get playful and wants to do nothing but fight. All typical dog, all they want to do is fight and then with their owners. It's a game to them. But what you've got is we've got the TET, and yes, its official name from now on in the history books is the TET. T-E-T. I'm going to pump it through your heads. It's now called the TET UFO. It was named by the discoverer, Anthony Avery. Okay, I'm from Newcastle, or Carrington in Newcastle, Australia. And the airbase that it was flying over is not Williamtown in Melbourne, it's Williamtown. Williamtown in New South Wales, up near Newcastle. Right, and its orbital path would also take it over the army base up at Singo. So yeah, very strange that an object is going over air bases. But I want to talk a little bit about the aircraft and what's its name? Malaysian airline flight MH370. Could this object be responsible for this missing aircraft? Yes. UFOs there's even UFO footage of it actually taking a small aircraft, but this thing could be big enough, and let's just say if they've got technology to take a small aircraft, they've got technology to take a big one. It just went missing. This could be the same thing that's responsible for the Bermuda Triangle. We don't know. It could be the same sort of craft. Big craft. They're here to look at us to see what our defences are. But to me, they're looking at our defences. Shit, they're over an airbase at the moment. Even outer atmosphere, for one of these craft being out of atmosphere, is just the same as a satellite looking down above it. But where it would have to be over the airbase, or it could be over Asia if it's out of atmosphere. But it's definitely in the direct path where it could see everything if it's out of atmosphere. Bloody dog is pissing me off. Sorry about that, folks. And that wasn't jumping out of focus. That was actually the dog. When I sort of got it back in, I remember this actually happening. He come up and put a bloody dead rat at me feet. Yeah, I've trained my dog to be ratted. So I lost it for a few seconds and everything like that, and you'll soon notice it goes still for a while. That's me going and chucking the rat up in, throw the dead rats for the cats to get. But the thing is that sort of when you're outside filming, if you're filming with your animals, you've got to put up with what they do to you. It's sort of part and parcel of owning animals. But the thing is that sort of while I'm out there filming, things are going to happen, but the thing is, the object is staying the same. It's the same as the night before, so it's not reflection of light or bending light. Someone said, oh, you managed to bend light. The only thing all I did was turn the exposure down, so I didn't bend friggin' light. All I did was just get rid of the brightness. So, yeah, trolls, don't bother. Your comments don't ever make the public list. They get wiped out. That's the good thing about common approval. It's there to stop the trolls, not the people that want to talk about decent scientific shit. If you want to sit there and say, oh, like, you can rave on as much as you want because it's not going to see the light of day. The thing is, I'm out there, I let my regular subscribers comment, and people get nasty. Again, it's the same as everything else. The nasty comments, they're the first thing that go. Because I have kids that watch my channel, that's why you always hear me, if I swear, I always apologise. I don't bother going edit it out, I just apologise, because they're going to hear it anyhow. But the thing is, it's sort of, we have here the tet, yeah, this must have been where I went and got rid of the rat. But the tet, okay, it looks exactly like a living. This thing could have been there for some period of time. As I said, I did not know about how to adjust the exposure myself until a friend sat me down and explained what to do. I was the same as every other idiot. Now, yeah, as I was saying before, could this UFO be responsible for the missing plane, MH370? It would have been over the skies at the approximate time when the plane went missing. So yeah, is it responsible? It's bloody big enough. And it's not a planet. There's no way this is a planet, and that's out of focus actually, by the way. When it's looking like there's a curve bit, that's actually out of focus. That's in focus. When it's square, geometrical, that's what it truly looks like, because that's what it looks like in the daylight. And unfortunately, at the end of the video, my battery ran flat because I forgot to take it off charge. I took it off charge too early. I didn't have it long enough to actually film, and I've currently got it on charge and running away there, and I'm doing that at the moment, making sure that it's charging, because let's just say I don't want to go out and it's actually full. Yep, it's charged. So it's sorry about that. I've got to do a multitask, because I don't want to go out there tonight and to go through the same drama I went through last night where I didn't have enough battery power. Unfortunately, big bat don't work anymore. I'm buying a new one, but I've got to wait for it to bloody turn up. So yeah, your equipment is important, and a telescope is no good. Don't even bother with a telescope, because all you're going to see is a telescope is a white dot. Unless you have the ability on your telescope to lower the exposure, yeah, then go ahead and do it. But I don't know of any telescopes that do it. I've been trying for years to find something that did that. Because a lot of the times they just get too bright. It's one of the problems why you have problems looking at the moon. When you're looking at the moon, a lot of the times you actually need to lower the brightness to see what's really going on. So, getting back to it, the TET. Here we have a geometrical object. Geometrical. Man-made, in other words, not man-made. It's physically constructed is the best way to say it, because we don't know what they look like. They could look like us. Okay, and there was even a discussion in my yesterday's video, could it be God coming back, because the description of the kingdom of heaven when it lands on earth is basically a X amount of furlongs long like this side, X amount of furlongs this side, or X amount of length that wide. The height is the same as its breadth, but as I said, when you don't mention a roof, it can only be one structure, and that's a pyramid. Now, the fact that this is, there it is, that's where I'm fiddling with the thing. Now that shows you that the sunlight section is the brightest component of the thing. So the sun reflecting on this is reflecting off a triangular side. That's the brightest part of this whole object. This is why you need to lower your exposure, because even the sunlight of this object is too bright. Now I've taken it up and you can just see the brightness of the light at the top. I just put a little bit of light up the top. So you can see there is either a tower up the top, or that it's part of the top. It's not as bright as the sunlight. So hence you need to lower this down. The reason why the right hand side looks like an L coming across, it's the top of the right hand side triangular section of the pyramid, and it's illuminated by the light that they're emitting. Now, to us, this is upside down, but it could be upside down so they could simply view out the window and look at it, but to them, they could be standing up the other way as if you were standing in a pyramid on Egypt. We don't know. If they're in outer space, and tell you now, they'd have to have some kind of anti-gravity floors that they could walk on. I don't think they would be flying around their spacecraft the way we do. Okay, I believe that they have controlled anti-gravity. They must have too, because I believe anti-gravity's got something to do with the propulsion. And so yeah, you've got to look at different ways that things, you've got to open your mind up to what's actually going on. Don't just assume. Yeah, so if you assume, you basically means you're making a mistake. I'm sorry, I have to say that, but that assumption is generally you're trying to fill in the whatever you're doing. You're trying to say, oh, well, it does this, it does that, where you could be 100% wrong, and I mean 100% wrong. And the secret is, so to make this good, you've got to go out, put your telescope back in your let me reword that. Go and put your prehistoric telescope back in the cupboard. Go and get that high 8 camera that you think has just gone out of use because it's simply not digital anymore, and it's got a 560 zoom, digital zoom on it, 40 time manual zoom. Go and get that, because that's all I use. And it seems to be doing a damn good job, and it's doing a better job than the telescope. Why? Why is it doing a better job than the telescope? Because I have more adjustments on this modern day telescope, because that's really what it is. It's a modern day telescope. You have the ability to record on it. You even have the ability to lower the light exposure. You have the ability to focus. You have so many abilities. You can even time date stamp it, so that people can see, okay, I filmed this on the 19th of the 3rd, 2004 at 5:20:35 in the morning. So you're mad if you go and use a telescope, because all you're going to see is a little white dot. Nothing more than a little white dot. And if you go out and get your camera and you don't adjust your exposure and you don't turn off the automatic focus, please remember to turn off the automatic focus. And that goes to the same for people that make go out in the movie theatres and they copy the films and put them out on the net. Yeah, they make the same mistake. They leave autofocus on, you come up, and that's why the movies you watch on the net that come out early are shit, because they've left the autofocus on. And it's the same, whenever you're looking in a dark room, for God's sake, use manual focus, because the autofocus is not designed for darkness. It's designed for light. But the thing is, what you need to do is go out and get your high 8, go and get your normal 8mm, because even back then I know the 8mm had that same exposure and focus function. Just because it's old technology doesn't mean it's any good. Not any good. It means it could still be good for a purpose. This still films family events. It still films everything I film. I'm filming a movie on the same damn camera. I make all my little D-grade movies on this same damn camera. So it's up to yourself what you want to do, right? Do you want to go out there and do you want to just assume that you're seeing the real thing? No, don't assume that you're seeing the real thing. Go out and get a camera that has focus, exposure. Now, as you can see, that's me turned up. Oh, there's a little white object in there. Oh, I didn't notice that one. And and it's just disappeared off the screen. So, yeah, I didn't see that. But this is the exposure, and I'm showing. This is why I'm talking about the exposure. I've deliberately done this time. I know that I played with the exposure, and I just wanted to point out because I knew I would be talking about the exposure. So here it is. This is at normal daylight exposure, what I would normally have the camera at if I was filming in the daylight. I'll lower the exposure, and lo and behold, what do I get? I get the TET in full view. Okay, I've got to focus it a little bit better or whatever. No, I just need to zoom in on that one. And I've knocked it off. That's me knocking it off the screen. And I'm constantly got to move this, folks, because the way the thing is moving, I've got about 30 seconds and then I've got to adjust the camera and everything. I'm going back to fiddling with the exposure so that people can see. If you're going to look through a telescope, that's what you're going to see, okay? Because the sun's reflection of this is so vast, it's stronger than the light that this craft is emitting. And when you see these pulsing effects, that's because the sun pulses, right? Sun's pulse, right? So, and it's the sun pulsing is why you get these effects where it looks bigger, and it comes up and it zooms up and it looks bigger. That's what I was trying to catch here. Didn't happen like I was hoping it would be, But if you're just zooming in on, and when you get that effect, that's generally from a torchlight effect or whatever. But that's lowering the resolution down, and as I said, it looks like the TR3B, and unfortunately when I did that, I lost focus, so I had to come back and I had to focus it again. But again, this is what happens if you don't use the focus as well. You have to use your exposure and your focus in tandem, okay? You use your focus to get the light, the shape of it right, then you fiddle with the exposure, you fiddle a bit with the focus, a bit with the exposure, and then eventually you get what it really looks like, which is that. That is the true shape of the TET. I'm, by the way, at the end of my battery run out. I think I may have mentioned that. So, but you've got to turn around, you've got to put it in, you work out where the orbit is, and this is what I'm doing here. I know the orbit goes up to the top and to the right a little bit, so I'll keep on bringing it down that corner. I generally know where it's going to be. And I could sit there and just don't have to hold the camera and fiddle with the camera, give you a steady shot to actually have a look at. And it's moving in the speed of the moon, not in the speed of a star. Okay, so if it's moving in the speed of a moon, that means it's in an earthly orbit. All right. Now, as I said before, let's go through what it could be. Could it be the TET with evil intentions or whatever? Could it be the Illuminati's pyramid that they always notice on the Illuminati pyramids? That bit's always chopped off. Is this what they're really worshipping? It could be. I bet you it is. But could it also be the kingdom of heaven? And the kingdom of heaven, it talks about it was so many things long, so many things that way, so many things, and the height was as high as the breadth. So there's no mention of a roof, the description of the roof. So when you don't mention a roof, you get one and one only shape, a pyramid. And as I said before, this pyramid to us looks upside down, but in space, they're the right way up. It's like in the movie Ender's Game, for those of you that watch the movie Ender's Game. The movie Ender's Game, it turns around and actually young Ender makes that joke. Could that joke be referring to the TET? Like to us, we're looking at it upside down, but to them, they're the right way up. And as you can see, again, I'm fiddling with the focus. Why am I fiddling with the focus? I'm fiddling with the focus for a reason, to show you what actually happens when you play with the focus and you play with the thing. You get this. It's sort of, but when you leave it, you get what looks to be a little flashing, changing, little lighty thing. Generally something in the night sky that's too bright to be a star that you think. Just because it looks like a star doesn't mean that it is a star. Again, that's assumption. You're assuming because it's in the night bright sky that it's a star, or that it's a planet, it's Jupiter, it's Venus. So many bloody ignorant people, the skeptics, the loonies, and today, these days, that's what the skeptic is, okay? Because a skeptic to me is someone that is not willing to believe anything but one theory, that we are the centre of the universe. We are not the centre of the universe. We are anything but the centre of the universe. Sorry. We are that little fly, that giant alien being up on planet Xenon or whatever, strikes us down, walks on, steps on our anthill. We are most probably that insignificant to some races, because we would be that far behind them technology-wise. We are a young civilization. And as is in Star Trek, for the Trekkies out there, you'll understand this very clear. Because the first thing they don't do is have contact with worlds that don't even have warp technology. We don't have warp technology. They don't want anything to do with us because we can't travel in the stars yet. So we're not a danger to them yet. I guarantee you when we do become a danger to them, they're going to let us know. They're going to let the whole world know that we're a danger. They're not just going to let one person know. They're going to let everybody know. And we could be coming that now. That's why these things could be happening. That's why they're up there observing. Because they're most probably looking at the way we've advanced, and the way we have advanced in 100 years, that we have shot so far ahead in technology that it's beyond a joke. How have we done that? We may have done that through these little fellas that were willing to help us get along and help us move and help us increase in our technology and sort of try and advance us in a peaceful way. But unfortunately, we have idiots in government that worship things or worship Lucifer or whatever, and we found out a lot of them do worship Lucifer. They go to the olive grove, which we know is a satanic thing. So do you really want a satanic person running your government? For God's sake, I actually truly believe this one thing I'm going to say. I believe that we should do what they did in the past. Hunt the Illuminati down. Don't have to kill them, but jail them. Because they have turned around and they have abused us. They are the biggest criminals on the face of this planet. And I come from a family that is Masonic. And I won't join. Trust me, I would not join them. Because I don't believe in satanic things. I actually believe that my grandfather may have been popped off. He died at the ripe old age of about 40. With something I can't remember what, but it was just very strange. All of a sudden he got really sick and died. And they do say under the throes of death, because my grandfather all of a sudden became a Seventh-day Adventist like my mother, my grandmother and mother. And wasn't long after that he got all of a sudden mysteriously sick and passed away. So, yeah, so under pangs of death, the old saying goes. So, but the thing is, yeah, I do believe that we need to go back into the Renaissance period where they knew that this Illuminati was a threat to society. And the Illuminati and Masonic mob are a danger to our society. Presidents in the past have said the same thing. So we need to do something about it. Yes, we need to do something. Even the rich at the moment, one of them got up and said, oh, like we are the Jews of the past. We are the 1% because we got more. But it's not because it's about more, it's because it's about the fact that you do have more and you're not sharing. Like a decent society, the rich would share and see to it that we weren't treated like slaves, because that's all we are to you. We are slaves to run your businesses. You have the monetary system set up so that everybody is a slave to you. Well, we shouldn't be a slave. We should have a society, and I think Star Trek is most probably the best way of a good society, to where money means nothing. The pursuit of higher education, where people can go out and run a business, don't have to worry about being in debt because everything is given to them because money doesn't exist. Everybody that comes into them, they just go into them. You want to be a restaurateur? Well, yeah, you should still have to apply to the health department, but that's only for rules of health. But if that's the job that you want to do, because everyone is still going to have to work in some way, shape or form. I'm a researcher. I'm an artist. I do things like that. Yeah, and art's just as important as anything else. But at the moment, the way it's run is that the elite get everything. And I'll tell you now, they squash anything that can make money. I've got an invention that can turn around and set me up for the rest of my life. And yet I can't get it on the market because the supermarkets just won't put it on the shelves. The advertising's too rude, they tell me. And it's not too rude. And because my invention's to stop your zip from coming undone. So I've got to involve the zipper in it somehow. So yeah, they go out and they squash everything. Why do they squash everything? Because, see, they worship a higher power to them that is all about money. Money is control. We don't need money. And communists were almost right. The only problem is they still let too many people have too much power. Communism should be about where the people have the vote. Full stop. Yeah, you still need someone in power, but that someone in power needs to be answerable. It needs to be publicly open, unlike the way they currently are. So where one man has got full rule. To me, a communist country that has a family that goes from person to person to person, i.e. North Korea, the ill family, well, something's ill about that, because that's not a communist country, because that's put one family in charge. To me, that's a dictatorship. And I'm sorry, North Koreans, that's why they don't allow the news to you. But this tech, I do believe, does have something to do with the Illuminati. I really do. Because on the American dollar bill it says that our goals have been done, or whatever. I can't think what it says, but I know any American will straight up say, oh yeah, well that's what it means. Anybody can read Latin knows that they publicly declared it. But on the dollar bill, that little pyramid on the top is missing. There it is there. Well, they say we're down under. right, in Australia. So we've got an upside-down pyramid. So if it was in America, it'd be the right way up. But actually, we're the right way up. The Americans are the wrong way down, apparently. It's read a news article about, apparently, Australia. The Antarctic is really the top of the world in the galaxy, the way the galaxy structure goes, where the Arctic is at the bottom of the world. Sorry, but it's a public document. I read it on, out of a government file. So it's sort of, yes, go over the, you want to go out, go over the rope. The thing is, it's sort of, you've got to turn around, you've got to say to yourself, okay, are we going to really let the Illuminati that worship this thing, right, rule us? And unless we start doing something about the Illuminati, and I'm telling you now, we should make sure that every public official declares any Masonic or Illuminati context, because if they have that context, they shouldn't be in rule of our governments. That should be a public rule that no government member in any country should have associations, should be a member of, or anything like that, of the Masonic or Illuminati. And it is a well-known fact that the American presidency has many, many Masonic members sat. The American government. And when we turn around and we look at our votes, by the way, do you think your vote really means anything? Trust me, it doesn't. We may go out there and vote. It's sort of like our system has just changed to where they've gone to giving us pencils. We used to get given a pen so that our vote could not get changed. But all of a sudden we're going back to the pencil system. Why? Because someone above human is running us, i.e. could be this mob, the one the American Illuminati worship. Yeah, because as I was saying, sorry about that, I had a brief break. The Illuminati and Masonic churches worship a sign where the pyramid is missing its top, hence the reason why the top of that pyramid may have been deliberately taken off as well, to sort of say that as a symbol that their thing that they worship is up in the sky now, rather than here on Earth. And maybe this is it coming back, you never know. But the Illuminati and Masonic orders are a threat to our society. They truly are. They are the ones that built the Georgia Guidestone that says that they need to reduce the population down to 500 million. But the thing is, it's sort of, God said go forth and fill the earth. So, yeah, as far as they're against God. But the thing is, we need to turn around and we need to do something about this 1%. Why should 1% of us have more? Why are they hoarding it for themselves? They are hoarding it because they know with money they have control. They know that if they allowed a society to control itself properly and remove money from the system altogether, and basically say, well, okay, everybody needs to work, we need to sort something out, we sit down and we say, okay, well, if we do it like this, we do it like that, and everything, and where if someone wants to work on a farm, they should be able to go on and work on a farm without having to be thrashed or thing. Bosses need to become a little bit more transparent, give the workers a little bit more say. They most probably find out they have a bit better business. And I've always known where I've ran a lot of staff, I know when my staff had that little bit of say, that we actually had a good working relationship. And it's sort of my old employer, when I was in the nightclub industry, guess what? Same deal. He used to give his staff a good say. If someone had a good idea, they gave us a chance to say it. He divided us up into management sections at first, I remember, and yeah, so it depends. But the thing is, jumping off the subject there, sorry about that, but it is an hour-long video. But I believe that the Illuminati are worshipping this object, and this object is got something to do with them. And the thing is, this Illuminati has proven to be a threat. They have known in the past. In the old days, they used to kill them. But, no, we don't need to kill them, but we can certainly put them in jail, build a special jail where they have no phones, they have no contact with the outside world, they need to be separated from society. Or stick them on an island or banish them to an island. and stick them on a little island, let them have their own little world where they have everything, and let them see what it's like, because they've got to go out and they've got to do what we've got to do. We've got to struggle to get food. Maybe if they did have to live like we have had to live, that they would turn around and start waking up to themselves. A way of rehabilitating them is to stick them on an island where they have to grow their own food. They have to support themselves, and that's basically what we're forced to do, because the 1% got something evil going on, guys. Definitely got something evil going on, because they worship a pyramid that's missing a top. Oh, what do we got here? We got the top of their pyramid. Whoops. Yeah, the Tet and the movie Oblivion. Yeah, it's sort of secretly run. It's sort of we never see who actually runs the Tet in the movie, but definitely the film industry thinks it should be destroyed. So some of them have stepped forward, and they know, because some of them in the film industry, they do at every little chance, they try and let us know what's going on, i.e. the 9/11. 9/11 was published in so many movies, on clocks, in The Simpsons, years prior, the Fight Club, the World Trade Center going down, all prior to the event actually happening. So that says either they actually own the film industry, so they could be just bragging that that's what they're going to do, or warning their people not to be near this, i.e. something, so that they're not around. This could be the reason they're building the underground shelters. Think about it, they know about this. They're building underground shelters because they know this mob could be hostile. So you've got to start saying to yourself, who really runs our countries? Why are they in charge? Why don't they tell us about the shelters they're building? Because they're hiding themselves and protecting the 1%, not the 99% that need to be protected. They're protecting the 1% that they think need work. And half of them are inbreds. They keep themselves inbreds. That's the way that, like, yeah, the royal families have done it for years. And it's proven that a little 12-year-old girl managed to prove that all the American presidents are related to the Queen. Yeah. So, do we really have a democracy? No. We are led to believe we had a democracy. Led to believe. We are I'm not sheeple. Yeah, I'm definitely not a sheeple. I'm becoming a wolf. I'm a sheep in a wolf's clothing. And let's just say this is one sheep that woke up, because what you're looking at, folks, is a giant UFO in our skies. And it's being covered up from you. You've got to turn around and you've got to say to yourself, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck? Yeah, I'm sorry, mums and dads, but it's about time your kids should be asking that question. All right, we need to remove Illuminati and Masonic. Like the Masonic lodges and all that closed down in Australia. They vanished here because they started to know that they're becoming too powerful, and they're starting to hide. And things that hide in secrecy mean something's going wrong, right? It's something is going on. They're hiding, or their big Masonic churches are being moved underground somewhere where we don't know where it is. So that means they're definitely doing shit in secret. And trust me, you can pick a Masonic lodge, because when they shake your hand, it feels like a girl shaking their hands with you. A man's handshake, you grab it and shake it. They don't use that. They use a real girly type handshake, and trust me, it's girly. And you know when you're shaking hand with a lodge member. It's they shake your hand, like you put your hand out, they think it's the hand of the lodge member. But let's just say I use the grip of a Grand Master. It throws them off a bit. I learnt the grip of the Grand Master. It pays to have someone that was fairly high up in the Masonic lodge in your family. So yeah, it was one of the things my grandfather taught me as a child. I've known that as a child. I knew that handshake. So it's helped me out a few times, but let's just say I've play them along as much as they try to play you along, and trust me, they will. They'll the moment they know you're not a lodge member, mate, you're nothing to them. They'll do anything they can. Oh, by the way, yeah, sorry, I've jumped up to the thing. That's the daylight sky, by the way, and that's what you can see in the daylight sky. That's normal brightness. That's the brightness level that I film everything when I'm filming in the daylight. Now, I do have to lower my exposure down, and again, as you can see, it's still extremely bright in the daylight sky, so it's not a star. And again, I have to play with my focus and my exposure. I've got to bring the exposure to the right level first, then I'll play with the focus. And but as I said, like you look through a telescope, or you don't adjust your focus or your exposure, that's all you're going to get. You're going to get a funny little white dot. And why do I throw little bits and tids of bits about the Illuminati and the Masonic lodges and the governments in all my videos and everything like that? Because they're the ones that cover this shit up. They have an agenda. The agenda has got nothing to do with us. The agenda is wholly and solely protecting their line. Fair enough, yeah, it's a survival instinct, protect your line. But they're more interested in protecting the money. And they don't mind inbreeding for a few more couple of 100 years or anything. So far it's worked. Occasionally they pop out a bad one, but it's sort of, that's just pure genetics. It's sort of, and talking about genetics, they're going into all this crop modification and everything to where they're making seedless this, seedless that. Why are they making seedless? Right? Because they know if they can wipe out seeds, they definitely can control us. But the thing is, what they don't realise, if they get rid of seeds, they get rid of food. And that's a big mistake. We need those seeds, folks. So I'll tell you now, even if you just go and buy seeds, and I've got a seed bank here at home, and I've made sure I've got a few things, and I let everything go to seed in the garden, and I collect those seeds. I've just collected natural Broccoli seeds, actually. And they're currently just I've just got them in a foam box, and I'm letting them dry out and fall out. Then I'll collect them, and I'll bank those. But the thing is, it's sort of, yeah, it's all for a purpose. It's to protect themselves, because one thing, they worship this. They worship this pyramid that's missing from the top of their banknotes, or it's lifted off the banknotes. In other words, symbolising it's lifted off from Earth. And you quite often see the Illuminati symbol of the pyramid with the missing top. And hence, there's the missing top. And remember, please, this may be upside down to us in the video, but it may be the right way up to themselves. And so we have a government here that worship this. So that's why you don't hear about it. You ring the press. At least I gave the press legitimate footage. I gave them this same footage. You can clearly see that this is in orbit. You can clearly see that this is not a star. You can clearly see it is a UFO. Press, yeah, no worries, everything like that. They don't do anything about it. Why? Because people at the press level, they're in on it. They're part of the Illuminati, trust me. Anybody in the press, Rupert Murdoch, he is definitely in the Illuminati. He's not a member of Masonic. He's the Illuminati, in the Illuminati. He's one of the top head honchos in the Illuminati. The Rothschild families, they are the Illuminati. It's sort of, the Rothschilds are definitely the Illuminati. And why are these people the richest in the world? Why do they control everything? Because they have learnt to control it. They invented the monetary system. They couldn't do it by force, so they invented the monetary system. And then taxes. Then we have taxes. Why should we have to give them money? Why? Why should we have to give the rich money? They have enough money to do what they bloody do. And the thing is, it's an absolute friggin' joke. I think some taxes are just beyond a fucking joke. Like the latest one, the carbon tax. God, there's physical evidence to prove that the Earth has gone through a warming like this many times. It's natural. It's part of the Earth's cycle. Why should we have to pay carbon tax? So they can get more friggin' money. So they can cover this shit up. They distract us from this stuff. It's deliberate. It is a distraction from what's really going on, folks. There is the Tet UFO. The Oblivion movie warned us about the Tet UFO. Someone in the film industry wanted that knowledge known, that Tet was out there. And they basically warned us that this thing is out there. It's in our sky. And yet everybody thinks it's a friggin' movie. The Tet in the movie isn't a thing, but a warning. Not a thing, it's a warning, because it's real. Here it is on your screens, folks. 2 days running in orbit of our planet. And I'm going to continually film this object as much as I can. I may go out and just do 5 minutes here and there of the video, because it doesn't seem to do anything but orbit. So I'm still looking for other things in the sky, and I go out periodically, even on cloudy nights, to see if the clouds have vanished. But the thing is, it's sort of, this thing is definitely there, and this is a clear and present danger to this planet as far as I can see, because the government is covering it up. So write your government, ring your government, ask them why in the hell are they covering this pyramid UFO that's orbiting the Earth? Why? It's wrong. They shouldn't be covering it up. We need to know about this damned object. We have the legal right to know about this object. So get out there. The moment you watch this video, the moment your government office is open, get on the phone to them and ring if you're in Australia, ring Parliament House and ask for the Prime Minister's office. Guess what? You have the right to ring his office, and they will actually put you through to his office. You'll get his secretary or an underling, but make a point of asking them. Say, look, we want to know why this pyramid UFO that comes into sight in our early hours of our morning, from 3 a.m. in the morning till about 6 a.m. in the morning, ask them, why in the hell are we not being told? And as you can see there, you can clearly see the pyramid structure, by the way. And the thing is, it's sort of, find out why. Those of you in America, the moment your government opens, ring them up and say, why in the hell aren't we being told about this pyramid UFO that is in our orbit? If you live in any country, ring your government. Protest. Start protesting, saying, oh, look, I want to know why in the hell we're not being told about this. This is something that we deserve the right to know. This is a giant pyramid UFO in our skies. Here it is. You're watching it in real time. It's in our skies. I filmed it 2 days running. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try and capture some footage, depending on the cloud cover. I will capture as much footage as I can for you, folks, because you have a right to know. This object is in orbit of our planet. Why are we not being told? This is proof of life in the stars. A skeptic could not debunk this. A skeptic, I'm serious, a skeptic would have no way of debunking this footage, because as you can see there, the right side now is clearly visible of a triangle, as the light behind it is brighter than the actual shading, so hence you can now see that this is an upside down pyramid. And I lose it in about 4 or 5 minutes, folks. I'm sorry, but the batteries run out, as I said earlier. Nothing I could do about that, but I will try my best to get this out there. But as I said, I truly think this is what the Illuminati worship. They worship the above bit of the pyramid that's missing. And as I said, just because it looks upside down to us, it's necessarily not upside down. It's basic physics, because in space nothing is the right way up. No direction is the right way up. Everything could be the right way up. And it's a joke they use in Ender's Game. And again, that's about another thing. And it is said that they're trying to make, and I believe that they are the ones that are bringing out this theory that the next fake thing is an alien invasion. But I don't think it's fake. I think it's actually going to be real, because here it is here. But the thing is, it's sort of, yeah, there's so much information out there, folks. You've got to find it. And let's just say now there's certain NASA images that I've been putting out. The only, like, I got tipped off about them and everything. I think a few people got tipped off about them, and then all of a sudden everybody's bringing out the thing. But those images that I do, folks, like, trust me, to get them at that resolution, I actually have to max out my computer. I've just gone out there to buy an extra 3 terabyte drive, just giving me the processing space, because just to get the image to the stage where I can show you, film it off the screen and show you what I'm seeing on the screen. By the way, I do have a 52-inch screen. The thing is, those images, I have to bring them up above a terabyte to get the resolution needed to show what these objects are on those NASA images. But they're out there, and there's life on those NASA images. Not life that we would know it as, and I've actually got proof of life in one. That's going to be the name of the video, so when you see it, proof of life on the moon. It's not just proof of life on the moon, it's proof of death, because it looks like there's graves near the structure that's on it. They're a bit away, the same way we would bury people away from where we live, but close enough so that we don't have to go too far to bury them. Now have a look at that. That's a good shot where you can now see the right-hand side of the pyramid and the side of structure of the pyramid. The Tet UFO is an upside-down pyramid for sure, and as the light behind it is now just a little bit lighter than that side of it, and hence that's why we're getting the shading of it, and you can clearly see that there is a pyramid. And this little screen that I'm watching on now is no bigger than 8 inches by 12 inches. As I expanded the width of it a bit. And so if I can see it on that little screen, you're going to be able to see it on your computer as well. You jack it up to a 52-inch screen, you really can see this thing. It just appears to be better.